Hello, amazing people from all around the world. It's your boy Joseph Babatunde Ogunshetire. Today, I want to talk about the cover letter that I submitted when I was looking for a doctoral scholarship opportunity in New Zealand. I want you guys to pay attention because I've shared quite a couple scholarship opportunities across different universities in New Zealand. If you are yet to watch these videos, check out my playlist on scholarship talks and application strategies, and you're going to find a list of those amazing eye-opening videos. A lot of scholarship opportunities. So yeah, it is part of the scholarship application process for you to submit a proposal or for you to submit a motivation statement. And I think I've made mention of the fact that one of the easy ways, right, for you to get a scholarship opportunity or for you to get a doctoral opportunity at any university in New Zealand, the same applies to other universities, but you need to reach out to a potential supervisor explaining your interest and how they align with the research interest of the supervisor, and subsequently how they are very important for the PhD or master's project that is available in that university. Now, I would read out my cover letter that I use for my PhD scholarship, and I want you guys to pay attention. For those that are just joining this YouTube channel, welcome to the big family. I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel and put on your notification so that when I drop new videos, you'll be among the first people to see these videos. It's also very important. I say this a lot. It was a friend of mine that shared a scholarship opportunity with me that, I took it very seriously, applied for it, and luckily for me, I got a fully funded scholarship opportunity to study across 3 European universities in 3 European countries. So it was really a blessing for me. So that is why I keep telling you people, try as much as possible, share opportunities amongst yourself, share opportunities to people. It doesn't stop you from progressing. It doesn't stop you from progressing. So do it. Share this video to people. It would really go a long way for them. You have no idea. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of why we are here. I want to talk about the cover letter that I used during my PhD scholarship application. So basically, for the cover letter, you have your address. I would advise that you use your university address, or if you are a researcher in any laboratory currently, you should use that address because it gives you a formal kind of look, right? In the face of the potential supervisor, in the face of the researcher you are writing a cover letter to. So for my own case, I used my laboratory that I was working at the time as a research assistant, like a master's research assistant. Now for my first paragraph, let's go. I am writing to relay my strong interest in the PhD position that generally focuses on connecting the colonial, exploring the power of material science to humanize the past. I am currently looking forward to rounding off my master's degree program in material science as an Erasmus scholarship awardee. My ongoing research thesis is focused on paleodietary reconstruction for some selected osteoarchaeological human remains, which came from a medieval necropolis in a convent in Lagos, southern Portugal, by analyzing stable isotopes of carbon, nitrogen, and sulfur. So I hope you guys got like a perfect angle of what I was trying to communicate with my paragraph 1. So now let's move to paragraph 2. Oh my god, guys, my laptop is dead. So for my paragraph 2, I went on to re-establish my research capacity or my research exposure. Basically, I'm talking about my undergraduate thesis, what I did, some of the problems I encountered, the results I got, and as it relates to the problems I encountered, those things that I started planning to do, right? One of which was to apply for a scholarship opportunity to pursue a program that had the capacity to teach me some of the scientific rigors or scientific rudiments, the technical know-how, the skills that I'll be needing, right, if I must answer some critical or crucial scientific questions in the field. So let's continue with the paragraph 2. So I started by saying, I did my undergraduate at the University of Ibadan, Nigeria, where I distinguished myself during the periods of my undergraduate research that involved the study of a remote pottery making community in the southern part of Nigeria. By engaging this extant community via oral tradition and ethnographic methods, I was able to understand the socio-economic positions of potters and the important roles they played in the preservation of culture from the standpoints of local food production and processing, tradiomedicine and child care, ritual and security, technology, and resilience, among other social dynamics. However, it was understandably difficult for me to delve into areas involving paleopathology, paleo diet, and stress, given the nature of the material at my disposal. As at that time, I was working with ethnographic pottery material, so it wasn't really possible for me to get all of this information, because ethnographic materials are basically contemporary materials. So I was looking at the possibility of getting past materials that can give me an idea of what the dietary lifestyle of these people was, and then to see how I could connect it to what is currently happening in the contemporary society, and also to find a way to deduce what the problem would have been. That is, if there are marked changes in the dietary patterns of these people. So I went on by saying I was eager to link their past life ways to their present. Microscopically, I wanted to understand what has changed in their subsistence pattern through the passage of time, specifically as it relates to food production and consumption. What can I say about their vulnerability and response to environmental and or anthropogenic stress factors? How did this community organize themselves, and how were food resources distributed? What can be said about individual osteobiography of this past population? These fundamental questions and many more informed my decision to pursue an MSc in material science, which houses the multidisciplinary methods and approaches instrumental to answering these questions. So guys, you see what I was doing, right? I was just trying to make the reader to understand what my bachelor's degree was like, my projects, what I carried out, the researches that I did, and some of the results I got, the problems I encountered, and how I was able to move on, from that, right? And yeah, that was my paragraph 2. So let's look at my paragraph 3. So for my paragraph 3, I started by saying I was recently involved in a research project that was funded by National Geographic on the origins and life histories of enslaved Africans from Lagos, which is in Portugal, reviewed by multi-isotope analysis. Few historical accounts and written records opine that the first groups of enslaved Africans arrived in Lagos in 1441. Further biomolecular analysis on excavated bioarchaeological human remains suggested that these individuals are of African descent. Given the above, there was a need to reposition these individuals in their specific geographical context by tracing their origins and reconstructing their life histories via the lenses of biogeochemistry, by analyzing stable isotopes of carbon, nitrogen, sulfur, oxygen, and strontium from their well-preserved tooth root dentine and enamel. From the results, we found out that these individuals had a diverse dietary custom as reflected by their random consumption of C3 and C4 plant-based diets. Analysis of strontium isotope from both tooth enamel enabled us to isotopically geolocate their origins by strengthening and or contributing to the sensitive topic of transatlantic slave trade between Portugal and several parts of Western Africa during the maritime age of discovery. Paragraph 3 was basically, talking about my research experience, like further re-emphasizing that I have experience in the research field, right? And that I've done some research exercises that are quite related to the research areas that this potential supervisor sits within. It's very, very important that you understand most of these crucial points. Please, it is very important to understand this. Now, I went on by saying for my paragraph 4, I am passionately interested in advancing my studies to the doctoral level, where I hope to further explore several physico-chemical techniques for the evaluation of life ways of past populations. The research focus of this PhD scholarship at your institution is quite fascinating to me. I am fascinated by the works of several bioarchaeologists and anthropologists that touch on the study of human biological remains to enhance our knowledge of past events and happenings and their implications on contemporary societies. This brings me to the life experiences of some of the first Pakeha settlers in New Zealand that are worthy of scientific attention. Although much of what is known about these individuals stems from a broader population perspective, as projected by colonial bioarchaeology, I find it personally exciting for this settler population to be studied and understood from an individual life perspective by applying time-resolved biochemical analytical techniques to reconstruct their life experiences. So, while I was talking about my passion for physical chemical techniques. I was also trying to chip in, what the PhD research that I was coming for, that I was interested in, would really teach me, and why it is very important to me. This is a PhD opportunity, right? So it must be important to you. You have to show that interest. It is very important. Nobody wants to work with anybody that is not interested in a project that they are interested in. I hope you get the message. So for my fifth paragraph, I went on by saying, I am attracted to the possibilities of chemically extracting information on a week-to-week basis from the available human bioarchaeological remains. What about the analytical prospect of exploring back in time on a year-to-year basis about the life experiences of these colonial New Zealand individuals? It's a question. I find highly interesting the research work of Molabi et al. That elaborated on the dynamic preservation potentials of brain materials in the archaeological records by employing microscopic and macroscopic research methods on archaeologically preserved brains from a colonial cemetery context in New Zealand. Also of contextual interest is the work of Parker R.M. et al. That use scanning electron microscope and laser ablation inductive corpuplasma mass spectrometry analytical techniques to characterize archaeological air samples by looking at their histological properties as well as their potential exposure to mercury. I understood that while the work of Mola et al. Indirectly exposes the preservation potential of other available human bioarchaeological material remains in this 19th century site, that of Parker highlighted the need for more samples to be analyzed in order to have a robust picture of past life experiences of these colonial individuals. You see, that was my fifth paragraph. And basically what I was saying in essence was, I've already read about the project that they wanted to do. So I went back in time to read some of the pioneer works, some of the pioneer works that have already been done, so that I can connect everything together, so that this doctoral supervisor is going to know that I already know what I'm coming for, right? So I need to make them to understand that I am prepared for this opportunity. Be ahead of things. I used to say it. Be ahead of things. It is very, very important. So that was that for my paragraph 5. Just, trying to make them to know that you've read about their works, you understand the problems that they are facing, and you know where the PhD is directed at. It's very, very important. Now, for my last paragraph, I started by saying, with the application of novel physicochemical techniques, I strongly believe that this PhD project holds a lot of answers to other pressing questions regarding psychosocial, nutritional, and environmental stresses that were experienced in 19th century New Zealand. The information that would emanate from this research will be relevant for the descendant groups, as it will further strengthen their sense of identity and belonging, as well as provide them a close touch with the fundamental realities of their ancestry. My research interest in bioarchaeology and anthropology, coupled with my relevant academic grounding in archaeometry, places me at an advantage for this wonderful PhD scholarship opportunity. I cannot overemphasize my unwavering readiness to work under the respected supervision of seasoned doctors and professors like Dr. Christian Kinatson, Professor Herbert Macaulay, and Professor Greywick Heidenberg, who possesses the transferable skills and fecund experiences needed for the successful actualization of this project. I cannot wait to explore the state-of-the-art facilities at the university, where I hope to positively push back the frontiers of my research abilities for the sake of scientific knowledge production and the enhancement of sustainable community practices. Thank you in anticipation of your professional response and subsequent consideration. Yours sincerely, my name. So yeah, that was my last paragraph, guys. So what do you think about this motivation letter? Did you learn something new? Are you going to draft your motivation letter and make it very compelling, make it very rich? Once again, if this video has taught you something, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Share my video to people that need them. A lot of people need information like this, so share my video to them. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for staying with me. Bye.